G'day, welcome back to the channel. Now, things are going crazy all over the world. It's amazing. Reading the media, all the things that are happening, it's lunacy. For reasons we cannot mention. Yes, that's right. If you mention it on YouTube, instant demonetization, even though it has become a part of every single person on the planet's daily life, you can't mention it. It's an elephant in the room. Oh no, you can't say anything about that thing because otherwise it's too sensitive to mention. Oh, anyway, what do? YouTube. What's wrong with you? Wake up, people. This is just news. This is just what's happening. But I thought you might like to hear about what's happening where I live, here in New Zealand. And to be honest, not a hell of a lot. It's in this little town I live in, Tokoroa, it's business as usual. Nobody is locking themselves up in rooms and standing in the middle of fields so as to keep their distance from others. It's just like, yeah, we had a cheese rolling competition on the weekend, and although the turnout was lower than in previous years, there were still plenty of people there. We had drag racing at the airfield. You can see it here from a long way away. Drag racing at the airfield, plenty of cars, plenty of people turned out. No one's afraid to associate with other people. I think we've got 8 actual documented cases in the country at the moment. So we're not as bad as some other countries like Italy and Iran and places like that. So yeah, we're doing all right. It will happen here. It's going to spread. It's just it's a contagion. That's why it's called a contagion, because it's contagious. So it's only a matter of time, as the Airline Pilots Association would say, before we're all exposed, and we'll either make it or we won't. I wouldn't like to be in Italy. In Italy, they've decided, according to a secretly leaked memo, that if you're over 80, you're on your own. There's not enough room for you in the hospital system. You've had a good innings, now go over in that corner and be quiet while you suffer. That's what they're doing. I mean, it's pragmatism, isn't it? It's the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. So you've got to be pretty partisan. You've got to be pretty, what is it? I can't think of the word because I'm old and I've got Parkinson's, but you've just got to be pretty, hardcore, I suppose. You've got to just face the facts. Anyway, so here in New Zealand, in our little town called Tokoroa, there's plenty of toilet paper on the shelves. No, there's been no big run on toilet paper, and we've got everything else you want. There's plenty of foods, plenty of water, all that sort of stuff. And I don't see people locking themselves up in houses or whatever. It's just business as usual. Now, this may change when things happen further down the track, when more and more people are having problems. But at the moment, with only 8 confirmed cases, no one really seems to care too much. But the government, of course, they're taking preemptive steps to make sure it doesn't get any worse. So they've cancelled New Zealand's largest air show, the Warbirds over Wanaka. Fantastic air show. Happens at Easter in the South Island. They've got lots of military, lots of old military aircraft there, and it's for 50,000 people I think they get to that air show. Not happening now. She's all shut down because obviously the thing we're talking about is airborne. It might turn up too. So there you go. I think some larger gatherings have been closed. We've got like travel restrictions. If you're arriving in New Zealand for your 3-week holiday, you've got to spend the first 2 weeks locked up in a room somewhere, and then the second week catching it from someone else, I suppose. I don't know. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. I can't offer too much in the way of advice because I'm not an expert in these fields. I'm basically just looking at what's going on from the outside and from the relatively privileged position of being a long way from where the real action is. So what do you do? So I'm going to be out there flying, as I mentioned in a previous video. If there's anything you'd like to see, tell me. I'll try and accommodate you, because you're going to be stuck inside, many of you people, waiting it out, trying to keep the curve flat. And this is what they're doing. It's not a case of saying, well, we don't want people to catch it. What they're saying is, well, we know people are going to catch it, but we want it so that people catch it in a progressive and manageable rate. We don't want all the entire population turning up in 3 weeks with symptoms. We want it spread out so that the health systems, the hospitals and that can manage the flow. If they can keep the peak down, then they've got more chance of actually dealing to this thing. So that's all we can hope to do. And there's plenty of snake oil going around, or if you take this or do that or whatever. Nah, forget it. Some people have said zinc lozenges are the secret. Well, suck on an old battery and see how you get on. I don't know. I'm just, as I say in a previous video, I'm fatalistic. What will happen will happen. Que sera, sera. Doris Day, oh, she's dead now. Never mind. But yeah, that's it. That's really it. So I've got a new camera coming tomorrow. It's a demo version of the new camera that I'm looking at getting, the Panasonic. You saw my other video. Panasonic, if you didn't read my community tab, you won't know, but Panasonic contacted me and said, oh, we're terribly sorry. We seem to have missed your communication. So maybe they've got a problem with their website. I don't know. But hey, we'll send you a demo unit for you to review and have a look at. So woohoo, I will be doing that. Should arrive tomorrow. I'll give it a jolly good thrashing, and I will do some side-by-sides, and I'll ask you people what you think of the results. Now, there was supposed to be a model jet meeting this weekend, but the weather's looking a bit septic, so it may not happen, which means I've got to try and find something to film. Obviously, I can't film myself flying, and it's a bit hard to get a good idea if a spotter's using the camera. So I need to get someone I can film flying so I can get a good idea of how this thing performs when I'm actually trying to track models and get some decent ground-to-air footage. So hopefully I've got it for more than a few days, and I'll be able to do that, and the weather will improve because it's we've got an ex-tropical cyclone bearing down on the country right now. Wouldn't you know it? Timing's all wrong, not to worry. So yeah, that's just a little update. I thought you might like to know where I'm at, what I'm doing. And I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all safe and healthy and not going to be too upset by this thing. And the big problem, I think, is a lot of people are losing their jobs. Yes, they are, because like New Zealand's a very tourist-oriented country. A lot of the income comes from tourists. And of course, right now, not a lot of tourists coming in because of the travel restrictions. So people who rely on that for their livelihood are really suffering. I mean, no one's going to pay you to come along and stand at empty tables, wait at empty tables, or to go on take nobody on a guided tour of something. So I feel sorry for the people that are actually sort of really starting to feel the pinch. And the government's talking about subsidising wages and things and so forth. But, well, you know, is there enough money to do that? I don't know. There's going to be an economic impact from all this, I suppose. I'm in a privileged position. I sit here in the studio and I make YouTube videos. Or I go outside when it's not raining and I make YouTube videos. So I probably will not be as affected by most people. Also, I don't make a lot of money. So losing half my income means losing much less money than other people who make more than me. That's sensible, isn't it? Yes. Anyway, but basically it means that hopefully we'll be able to weather our way through this, and hopefully I'll give you something to do while you're all self-isolated or whatever it is that you're going to be doing. And but the problem is, of course, that advertisers or businesses feeling the pinch won't be advertising so much. So the ad rates on YouTube are the bum will fall out of that. So I will be relying heavily on my Patreon supporters to keep us going, and I'll try and give them give you all much more content, much more useful stuff to look at, and hopefully pay you back for all your support in the past. There you go. Thank you so much, people. Right, if you like, I want some feedback here. I want some direction. I might go downtown, film the supermarkets and ask people, interview a few people at great personal risk, of course, as to what their feelings are. Do you want to know what's happening in this little tiny pimple on the backside of the planet? Is it of interest to you, or you got problems of your own, you don't really care? I don't know, you tell me. So between the flying videos and that other stuff, let me know. But as I say, on RC Model Reviews, full review of that camera coming up. It'll be one of the first actual reviews on the interwebs, because I've been looking for them, and all I've got is like the people at trade stands and then people who've done unboxings. It's really, it's not very good. So I'm going to put it through the ringer. And again, I'll be asking for your feedback. Is it better? Is it worse? What do you think of it? So stay tuned for that. I'll get probably the first bit up early next week, because it'll take me a week to get to grips with it and so forth, and try and get some footage. And in the meantime, I'll just try doing a bit of flying, keeping out of people's hair, and we'll let you know. So there you go. Thanks once again. This has been a long rambling waste of time, hasn't it? Probably demonetised right from the get-go, but hey, public service. There you go. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.